Hello, Mr. Ed here. Today is August 1st, 2024, and oh, man, we got us the humidity. And today, I'm going to be going in the back where we have our two little huts back there, and I'm going to be doing an inspection on a removal that I did back in May. In fact, I just posted a video 2 weeks ago, I believe, and so many of you all asked me to do a follow-up video, and I actually wanted to do a follow-up video on it as well, because the hive was a hive that had probably been in the building for maybe 10 weeks, not that long, and now here it is, almost 10 weeks after that, and it was a very large swarm that had moved into the house. And in that short period of time that the bees had been in there, they had just made a tremendous amount of comb. And as it turned out, it was all frameable. In fact, it was so frameable that all the comb that I took out, almost 95% of it, or even more, I was able to put back into the hive when I reassembled it. So it was really it worked out really well that I was able to do that. Now they've had 10 weeks of time to recover, because they certainly do. They got to recover from that. Anytime you remove bees from a structure or anywhere, it's just an incredible amount of stress on the bees. So 10 weeks, it was in May. In fact, it was May 22nd when we did that removal. And right then, that was when we were first coming into our tallow flow, our biggest flow. So it's going to be interesting to see how much nectar they were able to gather in that 10 weeks since they were in there, as well as to check up on to see where our queens is right now as far as her laying, because August 1st we are smack dab in a dearth right now. And I say that, but at the same time, as I'm walking past the hives back there this morning, man, the bees are coming in loaded with this white pollen on them, and I saw that here as well as behind the hives behind the honey house as well. And so you know, there has to be something going on, and I have seen, you can see the grass is really high up in this field as well as everywhere, and I have seen a lot of bees. I'm looking at them right now. They are working this grass right now. I see two of them right over there. If I get the camera, let me turn the camera around and show you. Now here's a bee right here, and she is got her back legs full of the pollen. Oh, there you go. She's laying. Hopefully I'll be able to get it in frame. So that's what they're working. They're working that grass, and you can see the pollen on her legs. So they're working this stuff. Now I'm looking, I'm seeing more and more out here in this field. So I know the bees are bringing in at least pollen. I don't know if there's nectar coming in, but it's going to be interesting to see what's going on there. And of particular interest, what I want to see is, what is the queen doing in there right now? You know, is her laying production, is it dropping off, which what I would expect to see? And on a totally different note, the last month I have been, me, Charlie, Julio, Brian, and golly, several other people, we've been in the process of harvesting our honey. And it's now completely done. In fact, so much so that on Saturday when I was here, I just came inside the honey house and cleaned up everything, pressure washed, just got the whole place clean. So how about we step inside of the honey house right here, and let me show you what it's looking like inside of there. And I'm telling you, it is clean in here. I got all of the machines all washed down. Everything is set, and it'll sit here until next harvest right here. And I mean, I got from the extractor, spotless, our uncapping tank, our uncapper, everything just cleaned out. And then not only that, I washed the bottler right over there, and I cleaned out the pump so that all the honey that was in there, it's all cleaned out. So the only honey that we're pumping through is our honey from this year. And that is our haul of honey that we got this year. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 55 and 4 30 gallons. So about 450 gallons of honey. Now there's wax in these white ones. There's a lot of wax, a little bit of wax in these blue ones, but most of that wax was taken out during the uncapping, and so there's a little layer, but none really to speak of. And that will be one of the videos that I'll be working on next, is actually processing, separating out all that wax from the honey. And I got a new method that I'll be using this year, so it should be interesting to do it. And this afternoon, I got to get over here, so I'm all set up in my bottling station. I'm all set up. The gift shop called yesterday, and they are now out of honey, so I've got to bottle up some honey for them as well. So that's what we look like in here. Oh, and you see right there, oh, too bad I didn't get that on the video, but the snakes reared their ugly heads the other day. I had a little tour of a family with 4 little girls and 1 little boy, and yep, they were introduced to the snakes, and oh, the beautiful quilt that Mona made, and then all of the labels that you all have sent me over the years. And just to let you all know that I am still collecting labels. As you see, I've got lots of space on the wall for them. So if you would, please send me your honey labels. I'll leave the address to which you can send that label to me in the description of this video. All that being said, I think that we can now head out, and we're gonna take a ride all the way in the back with the 4-wheeler and let y'all see what it looks like in the back. And it's really overgrown back there too. Now the reason the grass is all grown up in the back is because the big tractor that they use, it has been out of commission for almost 5 weeks now, and they just got it back 3 days ago. And I talked to Brian, the guy that cuts the grass. They will be going back there starting tomorrow. They're going to be going back there and cutting the grass. But for right now, let's just take a little ride in the back, and we'll see how high the grass is and find out just how these bees are doing in the last 20 weeks. All right. Now I'm stopping in the field right here. This is the Abbey Youth Festival field. This is when they put on the Abbey Youth Fest in the spring. This is the area that they have it. So there's electricity, there's water, there's everything back here, because when they have the youth fests, man, they might have 2,000 people right here in this field. But what's interesting is I know that there is an old dead cedar tree back in the woods right here, and every year I go back to look at it. And I haven't looked at it this year because there's a hive of bees in there. So let's walk through the woods right now real quick and see if we can find that cedar tree and see if there's bees in it. It is really grown up in here, and there is the cedar tree right there. So all I got to do is find a way to get to it. Let's go. Man, that is an awesome looking tree right there. Now let's see, and I can't even remember where the bees were, but let's walk around it and see if we can find them, or even if they're here. And I know there used to be, like where these openings are right here, I do remember them being in there. Let's see if we got any bees here. Well, I've looked all around it and no bees right now, but this tree is still going to be here for a long time, so it has lots of more opportunity to get bees to move into it. This is a really old cedar tree, and we don't have a whole lot of cedar trees here in Louisiana. I think it's too far south, too warm for them. But this one was a magnificent one at one time. All right, let's get back in the four-wheeler and get back to where our bees really are. And I know they're there. Wow, look at this. As I was walking around, I looked on the ground, and look at this. Y'all know what those are? Those are chanterelle mushrooms. So I'm going to pick these things. These things are great. I'm going to pick these things and I'm bringing them back up. I might be cooking these things tonight. There's a bunch of them. Oh, goodness sakes. Oh, yeah. Mr. Ed is going to be eating chanterelles tonight. Woohoo! And we got some more right here. I'm going to have to put the camera down. Look, there's some here. There's another one there. A couple more right over there. All right, let me put the camera down, and I'm going to pick all these things and bring them and bring them back to the buggy. Look at this stash Mr. Ed's got. Beautiful. Now, we've got those mushrooms growing in our St. Michael's yard as well as our St. Francis yard. And I wasn't thinking about it in August, but they're always ripe, right at towards the end of July, middle of August. That's when they start coming up. So this is the first time I've ever found them here at the Abbey. Of course, I usually don't go walk in the woods either. All right, let's go. Let's get on up the road to find our bees, huh? All right, one more detour before we get back there. And this structure right here, this is the old sawmill. At one time back in the early 1900s, the monks would actually harvest the pine, the longleaf pine here on the Abbey property, and this is where they would cut it. The actual sawmill itself was in this building right here. There's nothing there anymore, and they just use it now for storage. But another interesting fact about this little structure right here, for those of you that had seen the movie The Highwaymen, that movie was shot a lot here on the Abbey, and this structure right here was the hobo town in the movie. When, in fact, at this point right here, there's a little graveyard right here, but this is where the little girl was playing in the mud. I remember that part. Another interesting fact. All right, come on, let's get going. Well, I may as well show you this too. This structure right here, it's a World War II Quonset hut, and the monks used it for something, I don't know, but obviously it's not used for anything right now. But in truth, I've got plans, because I'm going to put a long hive right underneath this structure. It's falling down in the back, but right here, it's plenty secure, so I am going to put a long hive right here, because I love putting hives underneath structures. All right, let's head on in the back. And there it is. I'm gonna get my suit on, get that smoker going, and we're gonna open that girl up and see just how those bees are doing. By the grace of God. Woo-wee! I'm hoping for a good report. Let's go see. Now as I approach them, that looks pretty good there. A lot of bees in the front. I don't like seeing those bees in the back there, but I can hear them. Alright, I'm going to set up the camera and put my suit on now. Before I do that, let me just give a rundown of what I got back here. And I built these two little lean-tos, man, it's got to be 5 years ago now. And this, I can get about 30 hives. I think it's 30 hives on each one of these structures. And I know on this structure, particularly this one, because this is the one that Charlie and I brought all of the removals that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks, months. So this one, this one, this one, and that one are all removals, as well as that one right back there. Don't see too many on this one. No, that one's going to be a dead out for sure. That one's a dead out. And this one doesn't look so good either. Because if they don't have bees on them, they're in trouble. And you know, this is the time of year that I really sustain a lot of losses, and primarily from hives not being strong enough to protect the hive, and consequently they get robbed out, or the hive beetles. One of the two. So those are two that are no longer viable, and we're going to pop the lid on those and see what's going on with that. Let's do that right now. And here's what those hives look like after I take them apart. And it looks like there's still a little remnant of bees in that one. Those definitely aren't robber bees. Those were the bees that were in that hive, but there's no way that they could survive in this. This is the top box right here. And then this was the other hive, and this one was really, this one had been gone a long time. There are a lot of wax moth larvae in this stuff. So hopefully the sun will do its job like it's doing to me, cooking me, and get rid of the majority of these things. I'm sorry that I'm not close to the chickens, because I would have just brought all these boxes and everything over to the chickens and just let them have a feast with all this stuff. Alright, so just another part of beekeeping. Just thought the good part of it, huh? Alright, let's go over here. And now I see why I've got bees over here, because I got a crack on the bottom back here. They're just protecting it. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what we look like. Ooh, as hot as it is, I certainly didn't want to put on that suit, but let's see if I don't have to light that smoker. Maybe we can get away with that part. See how these girls are doing. Now remember, I did put all of their comb in here, but I added these 5 frames right here. So that's the first thing I'm curious, because they were just foundation with wax on it, not drawn wax. So I'm really not surprised that we don't have anything drawn out on these things. Now remember, these bees were really calm. Now they started to do something on this one, but that's probably because that comb was touching it. Now, one thing I can tell you, these girls have got a lot of stores in them, a lot of honey in them. One thing I'm going to do while I'm here, if the comb is secure, I am going to remove these rubber bands. Just make it easier for them. Even though they will do it on their own. But get that stuff off of there, and that way it's not going to be messing up further down the road. Now all this stuff, they did all that. You can tell this is all brand new honey in there. So they have brought that in over the last 10 weeks. They've done that. I'm just going to pick these rubber bands up after I finish. And this is why I don't like leaving these rubber bands on there, because they will embed the rubber bands into the wax. And I guess the bees don't care about it, but I certainly don't like it. So we got all that. And you can tell where the rubber band was. Look at that. She had been up here. This was all brood at one time. There's a hod beetle right there. And you see how they embed the rubber bands into the wax. But they certainly have got that comb secured to the frame. That is for sure. But you would think that after this amount of time, that would have happened. They usually get it done within a week, 3 or 4 days. It's already done. Maybe not to the degree that it is right here in this case, but still secure enough where often I can remove the rubber bands as I go through. Alright, there is our first box. Boy, and these bees are some kind of gentle. So let me put all this stuff back together, and we're going to move this box off of it so we can get down to the next one. And I'm just going to set this box over to the side. And actually, I'm really pleased that the majority of our bees are in the box below. And this one has just got stores of honey in it. That's really good. Now you all will see what the hive looks like underneath. All right. It actually is showing that the majority of the bees are here, 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 and here. So it's 5 frames that have significant amount of bees on them. So we're going to start on this side. See what we've got going on. And the rubber bands pop all by themselves. Now I bet you can remember when I framed this piece of comb up in there, because it's sideways, and they secured it. I'm really curious to find out the brood situation in here, because there's significantly less bees now, but you would expect to find that. At least I expect it. And I'm still being careful. I don't want to tilt this comb because there's nothing supporting it at the top. So it still could fall out very easily, as you see me do it in the past. But lots of honey in there. Now this one, they let the comb bridge over into the next frame, which is that's the part that's always a little bit risky when they do that. And you can see it's all honey. I think I'm gonna save that and eat that. And you can see that was where that piece of comb that I just took out was. And so we're going to be able to start putting our frames back in the box. I got enough room in there now. Still no brood. Well, I tell you, these bees are hardy looking. Alright, you think we're going to find brood on this one? I think so. I really do. Alright, I hope so. Nope. Not on this side at least. None there either. Alright, so now I'm getting a little nervous. Whoa! Why are you nervous, Mr. Red? Look at all the brood. Thankfully. Let's see if our queen is around here on the other side. My eyes are full of sweat right now and I can't see very well. But I know this was an easy queen to locate. But I don't see her on this side. Nowhere on that side. Maybe we'll find it here. And we got brood. And we got uncapped brood in there too, so we got a laying queen in there. It is hot out here, and look how my glasses are all wet, my eyes are all wet. It's hot out here, folks. But fortunately, I did not have to put a smoke on them. Gentle bees, great bees, and I'm really happy to see their progress, because it is progress. And hopefully, come December, these girls will be coming out of it, moving up, and we'll be splitting them in the springtime. So I hope you enjoyed the little tour that I gave on the way over here. And this grass is so high, and I can hardly wait till they get out here and start cutting it. But other than that, everything is looking good. A couple of dead owls, but we'll deal with those in the next week and get all this stuff straightened out. So thanks for watching. Keep on watching, and I'll be making more. God bless. Mr. Ed, I'm out of here until the next video. It took maybe about an hour and 20 minutes, but I got I got the bottle is drained, 14 gallons of some of it. Look at this beautiful stuff right here. Man, oh man, don't get no better than that. 14 cases of that. That's 168 bottles that I bring to the gift shop, and it's generally what a run is. 168 bottles, and that's almost like clockwork every 3 weeks. That's what they go through. Now, because this is our first crop from this season, it may only last 2 weeks in there, because they advertise this on the Facebook page here at the Abbey and say, oh, the new honey crop is in, come and get it. So when it'll be in there, today is Thursday, it'll be there tomorrow or Saturday for sure. I think because Saturday is when they said it's going to be in there. So it'll be in there for Saturday. There'll probably be a crowd of people putting a rush on it. Now, the last thing before I check out of here, now you remember that little piece of honeycomb that I got out in the field? Yeah, that one right there. Well, you know what? It's time to eat that thing. That's some great stuff right there. Thank y'all. God bless. Bye-bye.